a couple minutes late. We're not going to talk about why my channels were no longer connected and I had to redo all of them on Facebook. But I got them done and I am here and I'm live with you. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week. So excited to be jumping on here with you for a cup of coffee with Kristin today on our Wednesday. So excited. Like I said, I hope everyone is having a fantastic week. Let me know as you jump on here where you are watching from. I would love to see where you're tuning in from. Hello, Sonia. Hello, ladies. I see you all jumping on here. So excited for our caffeine and Jeep break. I'm going to keep it short. I try not to keep you too terribly long for our cup of coffee with Kristin. Just because I think of this as like a coffee break, right? Like you get a 10 or 15-minute coffee break. We're jumping on for some caffeine and some Jeep talk. Oh, we got Texas, Ohio, Virginia, Illinois. I love it. Oh, yucky weather. We have had a lot of wind and we have more rain moving in. Hello, hello. So let me know where you're watching from as you are jumping in here with us today. I would love to see where you're watching from. All right. So I hope everyone is having a fantastic week. I have some big announcements coming. Oh my goodness. So keep an eye out this week. So much is coming. So many new things. So excited. So excited. Oh, we got Alabama, Massachusetts, Tennessee, cold and windy, just like down here in Georgia, windy in South Carolina. We got New Jersey in the house. Finally, some warmer weather for northern Illinois. So she's getting cleaner Jeep. I love it. That is awesome. Awesome. Whoop, whoop. All right, ladies. So, one really quick announcement. We are announcing our extravaganza for 2024. So excited. And we're doing something a little bit different this year. So, we actually have split our extravaganza because we're growing. It's getting bigger. It's so exciting. So, we are going to have our 2024 educational extravaganza, just like we've done every year, with a focus on education, community, support. And we are going to be even increasing the education we're going to be bringing forward to you for 2024. So excited. If you don't know what the Lady Jeepers Extravaganza event is, we do it once a year. It is every April. We just got done doing it. I'm sure you saw lots of pictures. I shared some stories with you about the amazing event. So we have the official dates and we are officially opening the extravaganza this afternoon. So keep an eye out on the Facebook page and your email. I'm going to be sending out an email to all of you amazing ladies on our list, and I will post it on our Facebook page. So just keep an eye out. If you were at our 2023 extravaganza, you already heard all of the announcements. You got early access for registration. Our members got their early access as well. So we are limiting the spots for 2024. So excited. It's going to be amazing. But we're going to limit the spots to 78 amazing ladies at the 2024 Educational Extravaganza. And we are adding on to the back end of that with our Invitational Extravaganza. It is invitation only. All you have to do is jump over, fill out the application, put that in. We let you know. And we're going to be limiting the invitational to 30 ladies only. That is going to be kind of our next level. We have some amazing ladies who have come all the way through all of our education with us. Started at the 101, moved up to the 201. Now we're in the 202 or the intermediate. So I'm really excited that we are now at a growth point that we're going to kind of split So now we're going to have the invitational, which will be our 202 and intermediate ladies and our 201 ladies who have already attended a 201 event. That way you have that foundational education, hands-on training. And then I'm just so excited that we're going to be able to offer 2 different extravaganzas. So our educational extravaganza, our 101, 102, 200, and our ladies who are just moving into 201. This gives us the opportunity to cater the trail rides, to bring more education forward. And each year we're trying to bring forward, new things. The extravaganza is absolutely amazing. It is one of my favorite events. It's the only one we do like it every year. So excited. And then the invitational will be for our higher level ladies. So we will be changing the education that we bring forward for that one. So I'm super excited. So we're having just a big, huge, massive extravaganza, but we really have catered for the different levels. So keep an eye out this evening, right on the page. You're going to see a post. Check your emails. Oh, I love it. Nancy said the extravaganza was amazing. Michelle already got her spot. So excited. Let's see. I'm going to drop my email address in here, ladies. If you did not get an email that I sent out, or you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me an email. That way I get it right now. Well, as soon as we get done, and I can jump in and make sure to get any questions answered. It's Kristin. Make sure you do Kristin, or I won't get it, at ladyjeepers.com. Shoot me an email. If you did not get the members email that went out. And also, if you have any questions. So yes, please send me an email. I will look back through to make sure I didn't miss anything, because I know we did take a week off after the extravaganza. But yes, go ahead and shoot me an email, ladies. If you don't mind, I dropped my email address in the chat as well, Kristin at ladyjeepers.com, so that I can jump in there and check everything and make sure you get all the information, because I don't want anybody to miss anything. All right, we got Cleveland in the house, Virginia. I love it. All right, so that's my only big announcement for today. Keep an eye out. We have more coming from ladyjeepers.com, some new and exciting things for 2024, including what I just announced, our amazing 2024 educational extravaganza and invitational extravaganza. Brand new for 2024. We have some other things coming as well. So keep an eye on your email. Also, keep an eye on the page. We share everything on the page and posts as well, and in our private group. So if you're watching this, you are not in our main private group. That's what it's called. It's ladyjeepers.com private group on Facebook. Make sure you're in there, because we share everything in there as well. So I try to put it everywhere, on our page, in our group, and in our emails, so that nobody misses anything. So important to me. All right. So we're going to jump right in now. It's time for some coffee. I've had a lot of caffeine, as you can tell, and I want to share some Jeep knowledge and information with you today. So without further ado, in case you are new here, I am Kristin DeLibra from ladyjeepers.com, and I help Lady Jeepers, women who own Jeeps, to safely and confidently live a life of adventure without fear. And that is so important to me. So for today, super quick tip, moving into spring, quick tips. I try to keep those about 5 minutes long. You're going to see them all over on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. I will be starting to share those. So our spring quick tip videos are one subject, kind of like we do on our Cup of Coffee with Kristin. They are very quick. I try to keep them 5 minutes or less. We talk specifically about one aspect of the Jeep. So the spring quick tip video series we'll be posting, and you will find that on the Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for that as well. Don't forget, if you have any questions, you can always jump over to ladyjeepers.com. We have our upcoming events. We have some new ones that are about to be added in there, all the information, and the easiest way to contact us as well. So just jump over ladyjeepers.com, shoot us an email. Our email address is there as well. And all of our upcoming events. So the extravaganza will be open this evening for 2024. We are going to limit the educational extravaganza to 78 ladies for 2024. The invitational is limited to 30. So it is limited spots for this year. So do keep that in mind if you're interested in coming for 2024, especially if you already saw all the amazing pictures and heard all the incredible stories and you're like, I want to go. Make sure to jump in and get your spot in your registration so that you know you have that. It will be opening again this evening about 5 o'clock. So you can always jump over to ladyjeepers.com to be able to jump in there and grab your spot for our upcoming extravaganza. All right. We're going to jump in really quickly. So here's our first quick. We're going to do, let's say, 5-minute tip. We try to keep everything super short, quick tip videos. I get so many questions that come in about wheel size. So I get these questions asked. What size is my wheel? How do I know what size my wheel is? Why does it matter what size my wheel is? So in a nutshell, you need to know what size wheel you have. It's not just about knowing what size tires you have. You need to know what size wheel you have. Reason being, that will dictate when you air your tires down. The larger the wheel, the less you are able to air down on a traditional wheel. So you need to know what size you have. If you have a traditional wheel, is it a 17? Is it an 18? Did you go up to 20s? What size is your wheel? Because that will dictate how low you're going to be able to air your tire down. Another thing, when you go to get new tires, some tire manufacturers only make tires for specific size wheels. So when you start looking at like specific off-road tires, upgrading maybe to something that's going to perform a little better on the trail or off-road, you might notice that some of the tire manufacturers don't sell anything that goes on anything larger than a 17-inch wheel. 17-inch wheel is kind of the sweet spot when we talk about our off-road wheels and what size wheels to have. So with that said, you need to know what size wheel you have so that you know what to air down to and if you go to buy tires. So that is why you need to know what size wheel you have. That is a question that I get all the time. So then the next question that comes in is, okay, now that I know why I need to know what size wheel I have, how do I find out what size my wheel is? And that is such a great question. So when you go to look at your wheels, all tires have numbers that are printed on the side of them. I know I've shared this with you before, but I've had this question come in. And actually, we were talking wheel size on our Confident Trail Members Live Q&A yesterday. So I'm going to do this like this so you can see it better. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, this is a picture of a tire. On this side of the tire, you're going to notice there's numbers and letters. Those are there for a specific purpose. So when we talk about tire size, you'll notice the first number is your tire size. Now, some of them will say 35, some of them will say 37, some of them might say like 285. You might notice there's different numbers there. You may have to convert to the tire size. You might have to grab whatever the number is, throw it into Google, and it will convert it for you so you know what tire size you have. Okay. what we're looking for, how do you find your wheel size? This question comes up all the time. I wanted to cover this super quick in case you still had this question. When you look at all the numbers that are going along your tire, there's a lot of different numbers there, right? So, like, for example, this is a 35 12 50, which means you have tire size, you have the width, and then you're going to notice there's going to be an R if you have a radial tire. So once you get into super specific off-road tires, this might change, but we're going to just assume everyone has radial tires and is not running bias ply or different tires. But what you're really looking for is the last numbers here. So there's a number and then a number and then a number. So what you're going to see here is the number right after that R. Again, I'm going to assume everyone has radial tires. Might change as you upgrade to more off-road only type tires. But for this purpose, to make it super easy, we're going to assume everyone has radials who is trying to figure out what size wheel they have. So find the R. Go to the number after. So this has a 20. That means that is a 20-inch wheel. So find the R, the numbers after. That means it's a 20-inch wheel. So then you would know, okay, I have a 20-inch wheel. So as you are trying to figure out what size wheels you have, it is really important to know where to look to find it. This is a totally different tire. You're going to notice there were all these numbers ahead of it. You find the R, and then this is a 1/8. So it's the number after the R. This is an 18. So this is telling you the actual wheel size. And this is for any vehicle. So like on our Dodge truck, on our Dodge Dually, it says R, and then it's a 19.5 for a 19.5 wheel. So you can look on any vehicle, a car, a truck, a Jeep, it doesn't matter. This is how you find the wheel size. So when you are talking about buying new tires, when you are talking about airing down your tires, or you're going to buy new wheels and you're trying to figure out what size wheel you have right now, super easy. Go look on the side of your tire. Again, find all those numbers, find where the R is, and anything after that is going to be your wheel size. So it says 1/7, you have a 17-inch wheel. If it says 1/8, you have an 18. If it says 1/9, it's a 19. If it says 20, it's a 20. That is the easiest way you can walk up to any vehicle. It doesn't matter. Look on the side of the tire and you're going to know what size wheel is on that vehicle. So this is a quick tip for you to help you get to know your Jeep better, and also to help answer that question, what size wheel do I have? So now you know why you want to know what size wheel you have and how to find out what size wheel you have. Go out, look at your Jeep, look at those tires, and you're going to notice what it says. That is your wheel size. Now, if you are going to upgrade, so let's say you go to look and you find out you have a 20-inch wheel. So it says R20, and you are getting a lift, new wheels, new tires, doing some upgrades, and you want to get new wheels, and you're looking at that. You can always change your wheel size when you go to upgrade. So just because your vehicle has 20s on it now or 18s on it right now, if you go to buy a new wheel, you can buy a different wheel size. So keep that in mind. I know I've had that question come in as well when we're talking about wheels. First question is usually, why do I need to know what size wheel I have? Second is usually, how do I know what size wheel I have? And the third question that usually comes in is, do I have to stay on that size wheel? So if you have a 20 and you want to go to a 17, you can buy new wheels. You don't have to keep that same size. So those are, in a super quick nutshell, why you need to know what wheel size you have, how to know what wheel size you have, and to know you can always change your wheel size when you buy new wheels. So that was our super quick Ladies Jeep Spring Quick Tip from ladyjeepers.com on your wheel size. So I hope that was helpful. Do we have any questions about that while we're on here? Since we're taking a nice quick coffee break together, I will hang out and enjoy my coffee. Do you have any questions about why you need to know what size wheel you have, how to find out what size wheel you have, or any questions about the wheel size? I don't see any questions, but I know there's a little delay, so I'll give everyone just a second while we're waiting for some questions to come in. Hello, Canada. I love our Canadian sisters. We got some stuff in the works. I'm trying to get up to Canada. So we have a lot coming for the end of 2023 and for 2024. So excited. So some new announcements are coming out. I know I keep doing little teasers, but I don't want to just like go on about everything. So right now we're talking about the extravaganza and the invitational that will be opening up today, right about 5 o'clock. Look for a post on the page, in the groups, and an email so you can jump over and grab your spot for the 2024 extravaganza or invitational. So excited. Let's see. So this is a tough question. I want to go 35s. What's the best wheels? So wheels are kind of a personal preference. I will tell you, some of the ladies love the fuel wheels. KMC came out with some new ones. I mean, there's so many different choices. Size-wise, though, if you're going to be going to 35s, you want to be trail riding. Size-wise, my is a 17-inch wheel. Most common for tire manufacturers, especially when you start getting into mud terrains. And then down the road, if you decided you wanted to upgrade to something even a little more aggressive, your 17-inch wheel is going to give you the most tire options. So size-wise, a 17-inch wheel, if you're going to upgrade and get new wheels anyway, with correct offset and different things like that, go to a 17-inch wheel is my recommendation, just because, again, your tire choice options are going to be a lot greater. If you start going to a bigger wheel, it is going to limit your choices on tire manufacturers. So that is why I recommend a 17, especially if you're going to be trail riding, as far as the size of the wheel. Then when you start talking about wheel choices, a lot of that becomes a personal preference. Do you want steel wheels? Do you want aluminum wheels? Is there a particular look that you like? When we start talking about traditional wheels, you know, a lot of it comes down to personal preference and choice. With our Lady Jeepers Build Concierge program that we do, I've put together 5. We have a lot of builds going on right now, which is amazing. Celebrating. But we have done a lot of the fuel wheels. They have a lot of different choices. They have different choices as far as wheel color choices, design choices. Again, just make sure, I recommend go with the 17. Now, if you were talking about wanting to upgrade to an off-road wheel and you're looking at like a bead lock, you don't have very many choices. Just because you want to make sure that bead locks get a little tricky. Most states, it is illegal to run bead lock wheels on the road because they are actually stamped and they say for off-road use only on them. There are now 3 companies. There used to only be 2. There's 3 that make a bead lock wheel that is stamped DOT approved because of the design. I have a set of those. I have the Hutchinson double bead locks. They're Hutchinson Rock Monster double bead locks. I love them more than anything in the world. So I will say, like, if you start looking towards the bead lock direction, Make sure that they are DOT approved if you're going to be driving them on a daily driver on the road through different states. Make sure that they're not a traditional beadlock that is stamped for off-road use only. So something to think about. Now, traditional wheel, so many options. Tire preference. I know I always make people mad with this one. So we all have our own preferences. We all have our own likes and dislikes, things like that. There are a lot of great tires out there. I am a Maxxis girl through and through. Personal preference. I have no association with Maxxis. I have 3 sets of different Maxxis tires that range from their Razor mud terrain tire that I love. We have actually put 3 sets on our Lady Jeepers builds that we have put together and done for our amazing ladies. So, and I think we're about to put a couple more sets on. So I think we will have done 5 sets of the Maxxis Razor mud terrains. Yes, I'm getting some votes here. My Maxxis RZR mud terrains. They are amazing. I have a set on for my purple JKU. So I love the Maxxis Razor tire. That is my top choice. Again, when we're putting our builds together for our amazing ladies who have done our concierge program, that is one I recommend. Now, I also think the Cooper STT Pro is a really good tire. Some of it's going to be personal preference. Some are going to be louder on road than others. Some you're going to get more miles out of. Some are going to be a little bit better off road. So it's kind of figuring what are you looking for, what's important to you, then deciding on what direction you want to go. Again, my personal preference for the Maxxis RZR tire is because it is a little more aggressive as far as the sidewall. You have a little more sidewall tread. You have a little more sidewall depth. That is going to help you off-road. It's a little softer compound. So when you air down to go trail riding, I feel like it airs down a little bit softer, gives you a little more traction off-road, and they're quiet on-road for a mud terrain tire as well. So I feel like you kind of get the best of both worlds. Michelle said she loves her Treps. I love my Treps too. Got to be a special person though, Michelle, to be able to daily drive on Treps. But yes, I tell you, you say that, Michelle, Chad and I fight about this. So I actually feel like my Maxxis bias ply Trepadors perform better off-road than my competition sticky Treps that I have on my Big G. I feel like believe it or not, I feel like the Trepadors, the bias ply Treps that I have, I feel like actually are softer. And I feel like they do a little better job lug-wise for traction than my competition sticky set. Chad and I argue about that all the time. But I don't know. I'm like, they feel so different to me. All right. I know I missed a question. Cooper Pros, all 3 of these have them. Yes, Renee. I was going to say the Cooper STT Pro is a great, great tire as well. Great question. Asking about airing your tires down. I will go ahead and I will post. We have our how to air down your tires video. I will go ahead and post that. It is on our Facebook page as well. That it goes in depth, but super quick. This can be like its whole own class. Super quick. So really it's going to be wheel size and terrain. So the wheel and the terrain dictate what you're going to air down to. Yes, tire size does play a part in that, and type of tires play a part in that as well. But ultimately, the wheel dictates a traditional wheel, which means it is a non-beadlock wheel. It's a traditional wheel. You need air pressure to hold the wheel and tire together to keep your seal. There's different schools of thought. I err on caution. So I always recommend do not go down below 15 psi. That is the absolute lowest you can go, in my opinion, with a traditional wheel. I normally recommend, depending on the terrain you're on, airing down to between 16 to 18 psi. So when we go, like for example, to the Outer Banks, when we go up to the 4x4 beach, or actually any of the beaches on the Outer Banks, they require and mandate that you air your tires down to at least 20 psi. So some places you go to will actually dictate what you need to air down to. So for example, some of the beaches actually have regulations and rules that will tell you you have to air down your tires to a specific psi for their beaches. Rocks are where you're going to want to air down to as low as possible. Rock climbing, anywhere you need the most amount of traction. Rocks can be sharp. So there's lots of reasons. The terrain will dictate it as well. So like a rocky terrain with slick rocks, when you look at sand, you're going to air down a little bit more. Now, parts of the country play a part in this as well. So if you are out on the West Coast, depending on where, so I call it the West Coast, but I guess it's more Midwest. So when you look at like Nevada, Utah, Colorado, when you look at somewhere that has the red rocks, where you're in the desert, so that the heat is greater, the rocks are more porous, you have more traction, you do not have to air down as low for those rocks as you would need to in like the Pacific Northwest in Washington State, or like out in Tennessee. So the rocks, and the same thing with like Pennsylvania. So the East Coast rocks and the far West Coast where it's cooler, you're going to need to air down lower for more traction. If you are deserty type temperatures and actual conditions, so you have those porous rocks, you don't need to air down as low. Believe it or not, there are times you can have too much traction. I share this and laugh at myself all the time. We always are learning. I feel like this is a perfect learning example. I went to Moab years ago, very first time I ever went to Moab, and I had my Hutchinson double bead locks on there, my Treps on there, my Maxxis Trepadors. When I trail ride in Tennessee, I air down to like 8 psi because I want maximum traction possible. There's sharp rocks. We're in river rocks. Usually it's slick. Things are wet. So traction is an issue. So we were out of Moab and it happened to be hot. It was like 100 degrees and it's lots and lots of rocks. So I aired down to 10 psi to start with until we were out on the rocks and I was driving and I was hitting my gas and nothing was happening. My tires weren't moving. I'd hit the gas and it wouldn't move, and I'd hit the gas and it wouldn't move. So I put it in neutral and I yelled out the window. I said, I think I just dropped my transmission, you guys. I think my Jeep's dead. I think I dropped my transmission. So a couple of guys came walking back and they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, it won't go. I dropped my transmission. I don't have drive. So I put it in drive and I go to hit the gas and you can hear it revving and everything, but it's not moving. So then they start laughing and they said, why don't you look out your window and take a look at your tires? And they said, I've never seen a tire actually wad up and use itself for traction like that. I had too much traction. I had aired down too low. I had bias ply, Maxxis Trepadors on there that are massive lug traction anyway. And it was too much traction. So what happened was my tires were actually not allowing the vehicle to move because they had too much traction to ground back up to 15 psi for the rest of the weekend so that I could actually drive on the terrain without my tire stopping my vehicle. So sometimes you can get too much traction, believe it or not. So it's knowing what part of the country you're in, what the conditions are like. So heat, and then type of terrain you're driving on. So, is it porous? Does it have lots of traction? Is it slick? Is it, kind of damp or wet. River rocks are usually really slick because with the water that rushes over them, it really smooths them over. So just again, knowing where you're going. So I hope that helps a little bit. Wheel plays a big part in it and the terrain you're going to be in. That was just super quick overview. If you have questions, we have an entire Getting Started 101 program that we have available at ladyjeepers.com. You can jump over to our website, jeepers.com. All of that is available as part of our membership program, our educational membership program. We go through everything from kind of starting. We have our new Jeep owner programs, like if you just got a Jeep, and all the way through then to Getting Started 101. That has all the trail riding in there, getting you started, safety, windshield recovery, those types of things. And then it goes through 201 and then up to 202. And then we have Design Your Jeep Build. So we have a lot of actual educational information available too. You can always jump over to ladyjeepers.com. Yes, this is a great thing to bring up while we're talking wheels. I've heard shops don't like to work on beadlock tires. Why is that? And is there anything extra a person needs to know about running beadlocks? Great question. So one, tire shops will not touch a beadlock wheel. Like when you talk about a tire shop that like mounts, sells tires, they won't touch a beadlock. You have to go to a off-road shop only when you go to get your beadlock set up or your tires rotated. Same thing with wheel spacers. Once you have a beadlock wheel or a wheel spacer, the only one who is really going to touch that vehicle is going to be a off-road shop. So reason being is, like I said, one, most beadlocks are not legal to be driving on the road. So what that means is a tire shop legally cannot put something on your vehicle that is illegal to drive on the road. That's an insurance thing. So that's part of it. Another thing is they're more dangerous. They're more dangerous to handle. That's part of it. And they're harder to set up because when they go to mount a wheel and tire, they're using air pressure. They have a machine. When you go to do a beadlock, you're actually, those nuts and bolts are functioning that actually hold that ring. Depending on if you have a traditional beadlock or if you have an internal or a double, it's different. But it's a lot of work to set them up. They're not easy. And you need to make sure you get them set up right. So I do recommend, I know some people install them themselves. Everything again, people make choices. I did an entire class on understanding the beadlock wheel, talking about what you need to know for legality on the road, as well as your insurance policy for liability reasons. And then knowing that I personally recommend you take them to a shop to get mounted so that you do not do them yourselves, especially if they are DOT recognized beadlocks. Because if something were to happen, you want to make sure that you have proof and a receipt that a shop professional installed those. So if you ever did have an issue on road, it's just another protection because there is such a gray area when you talk about beadlocks. So that's really the biggest thing you need to know and to understand when you're talking about putting on beadlocks. Right now, there are only 3 companies who are making a DOT approved or recognized beadlock. Is due to the design. So they're actually stamped with a DOT on the side instead of for off-road use only. There's so many gray areas when it comes to the beadlocks. I'll just say, do your research, know your state, know the different highways, roads, interstates, laws for your state. Also understand there is an insurance liability gray area there as well. If you have an accident, you have a wheel and tire on there. So like, for example, my big Jeep, my YJ, I have Raceline traditional bead locks on there. So it still has the outer ring and it is still stamped, for off-road use only, which means I don't take it on the road. There's lots of reasons that make it illegal to go on the road. That's just one of the reasons that it is not supposed to be on the road. But if you were to get into an accident, and especially if you had a tire blowout or you had something where the wheel and tire itself caused damage in an accident, even if you were not at fault, technically, insurance companies are different. You may or may not have coverage if the actual insurance person looks into it, and or if it's an accident and there's police on the scene, they can ticket you depending on what you have, and that can affect what your insurance will cover. So no, I know a lot of people who run beadlock wheels on their daily drivers on the road. They're stamped off-road use only. Never have had a problem. That's a choice for everyone to make. Make sure you're informed and make the best choice for you, but understand what those consequences could be. For me, I saved up. I spent the extra money. I got the Hutchinson double beadlocks. They are stamped for DOT, and I have been pulled over due to my wheels and tires on my purple Jeep. So don't think it doesn't happen. I've shared that a lot. I was pulled over specifically for my wheels and tires on my purple Jeep, and ended up standing there outside of my Jeep, showing him the DOT and DOT number on my tire and that my wheel was stamped DOT. So don't think, and don't let anyone ever tell you that, oh, cops don't know. A cop will never pull you over for having off-road stuff, and they don't know and they don't care. And you know what? I was pulled over. So never say never, and don't say that it never happens, because it does. So it's just understanding and knowing where you live, your state, what the laws are, and then understand your insurance company for insurance reasons. Again, I chose to save up, spend a little bit more, because my purple Jeep is my daily driver. I want to be able to drive it everywhere. I don't want to worry about it. So I went with one that was DOT recognized. Personal preference, but understand what that looks like. And then do your homework, do your research, know your area, your state. Biggest thing for me was the insurance reason. So I always joke I'm safety patrol, but I am safety patrol, like safety patrol just in general about everything. I err on the side of caution. I want to be over prepared, probably a little more over the top than some people. So that was just me. I felt like there was no choice for me, that, I was like, I'm not willing to take that risk. So I went the safe route. But so it's understanding that. Great questions, ladies. All right. I have kept you here way longer than my original intention for our cup of coffee with Kristin today. I wanted to keep it super short as we start jumping into spring. So keep an eye out for our spring quick tips that will be popping up on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. 5 minutes or less, I promise. And don't forget to mark your calendars. Set a reminder on your phone. Every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, we jump on right here again for a cup of coffee with Kristin, and we talk one super specific aspect for you and your Jeep, so that we are focusing on Jeep knowledge together as well. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, keep an eye on our page and jump over to ladyjeepers.com to check out what we have to offer for you amazing ladies, and to keep an eye out. Don't forget, about 5 o'clock tonight, the extravaganza is going to be opening, and the invitational to the public. So don't forget to grab your spot. Again, it will be available on the website, ladyjeepers.com, and our upcoming event. And then always keep an eye on our Facebook page. We're always sharing what's new, what's happening with you amazing ladies. So thank you so much for spending some time with me on this Wednesday. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Hope you have some great plans for the Jeep End that we're driving closer to this week. And keep an eye out right here. I will be sharing more information with you about our amazing upcoming education and events together. So have a fantastic rest of your day, ladies. Bye, everybody. Thank you for jumping on. I will see